Hey everybody, it's Mark, and I'm going to give you guys a tour of my little shop area. This is where the magic happens. So stop motion gen is being built here. I'm going to be building the rest of the props and stuff like that here for the film, and it's taken me forever. I've been working here for many days, just cleaning and organizing. I hadn't really worked in here for maybe 3 years or so. The main reason is because there were two issues. One is that a lot of the casting and stuff that I was doing here for clients required a lot of sanding, and I used a handheld rotary sander, and so the dust would just go like all over the garage and on the shelves and everything. And that's why you can see I have a lot of plastic on a lot of stuff because I want to preserve my old puppets. So I wanted to clean that, and the other reason is because I had my resin printer here, which you'll see some videos where it's still there, but I've actually moved that. And then I had a like an ultrasonic cleaner here, and I also had another thing which I used to cure my 3D prints that were made on the resin printer. So the other thing is it was just kind of I didn't really have proper lighting in here. Like these lights were not here. And so I added these recently as well, just so I can see what I'm doing. Um, so yeah, so one of the things I did was, I just started cleaning and organizing, and just kind of going through all my stuff, making sure that like all my ball and socket parts were together. And in the process, I ended up finding some really cool stuff. So I actually found in another container the other day some small parts that were made at Natoli Engineering, the place I used to work. There's a guy named Gordon, and I asked him to make parts for me, and he did, but I never ended up utilizing these. And he made these as well as something else that I found, which I'll show you over here real quick. It's my other area. Let's see if I can find it. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. So this here, although this design is not really proper. Like you wouldn't really do this, but you take quarter-inch balls and you stick them inside. You sandwich them inside of there, and then you take your drill press and you drill down into the balls to make holes in them for the rods. You need to have rods inside the balls for the ball and socket armatures. The flaw of this design here is that this steel needs to be thicker so that your drill bit won't want to wobble. Right, you want to have it longer so it stays straight and goes right through the ball. But I found this and I found that, and I'm like, maybe I could actually, even though this isn't really perfect, I could drill those little balls and stuff and use that for, I'm thinking Hop, which is the spider puppet, little jumping spider guy. So I'm gonna put that back there. So back over here, yeah, I've just been kind of organizing, looking through all my stuff, and just kind of getting ideas as to how I can utilize all these things. And I've got a lot of these, and I've got also these little guys, various armatures from different places. These are some Jeff Taylor armature parts, which this is kind of big. It's a big and bulky sort of armature piece, but I use this for rigging. Let's see. So you can see here, this is what I use to levitate some clay. Sticking this in the clay like a little fork and moving it around, for flying and stuff. I used this actually on a zombie pirate tails test. I think it was the last thing I used that on. So yeah, there's just all kinds of little doodads in here, and just just kind of excited as to what I can use these for. These are also some nice little ones as well. So these are all just organized in one place now, and I'm happy to have that convenience of just being able to look in this box now and finding what I need. I'll put that back here. What else can I say about what I did here? So I mean, this whole area is cleaned off. I had moved my printer and everything else. I made a cart for that. I also under here, I had this, and this thing here, I can't remember what this is from now, but I had, oh, I remember. So I had wood, like a container of wood on top of this. But anyways, this here is a container of clay, all the Van Aken clay from the days when Will Vinton Productions was still around, some of it. So yeah, a lot of this clay here is from the days when Will Vinton had his studio, and you know, the age of a lot of this clay is really old. And in fact, this here is Avalon clay, I believe. Yeah, Avalon Industries. So this here is not made anymore. This is made in like the 70s and 80s, I guess. And Will Vinton Productions used this a lot. So there's a lot of like classic clay in here that's just kind of it's really special stuff, even though it's just, you know, you'd think modeling clay. But so anyway, I got this all in this container, and this clay will be reused. I'm going to be using it for making some miniature California raisins, believe it or not. But Jen is going to have various puppets that she makes, and when she makes those puppets, put this back here. So somebody had sent this to me, and it's the original California raisins formula for how to make it. And so I'm going to have Jen is going to have some small California raisins in her studio on her shelves. And she's going to be a big California raisin fan, I guess. And so yeah, I'm going to be reusing some of this clay, making the original California raisins with clay that would have been from the same time period. So it's going to be kind of fun. So anyways, yeah, this area here, I'm just going to get to work making some more props. A lot of these sticks here I'm going to make like little rods, and then turn this into sculpting tools that I'm just going to use. So this is like a new painting station area that I've got going on here. I've got some airbrushes and things, and the air compressor all set up. So this here used to be where my Anycubic Photon 3D printer was, and so I couldn't utilize this space to work here. Because it just, you know, at first it was too dusty all the time because it's right by that right there. And the other reason is because of the Photon. And I kept it here because this kind of table is easy to clean. And if I had any resin spills and stuff, I can clean it up easily. And luckily I haven't had any spills. But I wanted to utilize this space. And so what I did was I made this little caddy, I guess you can call it, for the printer. And so you can see the printer up here. This is the Anycubic Photon. And it's a great resin printer, although it's like a 3-year-old printer already. It's also very smelly to use these resins. And I use an eco resin. This is that pink eco resin that Jen's made from. But it's still very, very smelly. Like if I, you know, hold this, and if there's any resin on it, you know, it's also toxic as well. So I gotta keep all this stuff super clean. But I've got a shelf here. So I got my cleaning station and curing station. Got the printer, and also for safety reasons, I'm working on, I have some stuff that I ordered from Amazon, and then I 3D printed this guy out. This is just a simple tube. And actually this didn't print properly, the bottom's not flat. So I had to reprint it, and it's actually reprinting right now. But it's going to go on the back here. Maybe we can turn this around so you can see. So we've got a vent on the back. And so what this does is it takes air in through the top, and it comes out here and goes down. And this is what keeps there's bulbs inside there, and it's going to stay cool. So they circulate air through. And the smell of the resin on the inside just goes all throughout the room, and it is very strong, very, very strong. So this here, when I print the better one out, it's going to fit on the back. And from there's going to be some like dryer duct hosing that I'm going to clamp onto this. And there's a fan that connects to it that sucks the air out. It's going to go down the back, and it's going to go outside of this garage door. So no more smells, because I do plan to use this for a lot of stuff for the Gen project. So but anyway, that's an Anycubic Photon. It's great. I wouldn't recommend buying these now because there's better ones, also cheaper. But yeah, like having this organized and out of the way means that I can work over here, I can work over here. So yeah, that's that. I went through and I have a lot of paints. And before the project, you know, I realized that I had a lot of paints that were really old, and I didn't know if any of this stuff was any good anymore. So I've literally went through every single paint container here, and I've, you know, shaken it up, made sure that I could hear it. It's making a sound, and I realized it's not dried out. But any of the old dried out stuff I got rid of. There's actually paints inside here as well, so I did that for both of these. Yeah, so the paints, you know, that's going to be something that I'm probably going to have to buy a lot more paint. But, yeah, what else? So what about this project? You guys remember this? This is the Bad Apples project. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have seen this in some of my live shows, which I think the last live show I did like 4 years ago. And I was working on these, and so these will actually be part of the Jen project. I'm gonna have an episode probably where she teaches how to do clay on glass, and these will be, of course, this is big, but this will be what she's working on instead of me. And so that'll be a project she might demonstrate to show like how this is done, because ultimately Jen is going to be trying to preserve animation, you know, like keeping it alive. That's kind of her goal. So, moving on, now we have another cabinet here, or, I'm sorry, caddy, and we're going to take this off the top. Voila! Alright, so, this is the Dragonframe setup that I've had for a long time, and this is, you know, it's been around for, I mean, I've had this for probably, I don't know, how many years is it now? Probably 8 years or something like that, or 9 years. A really long time, and this is where Zombie Pirate Tales was filmed, on this very computer right here. And so the only change I did to this, besides cleaning it up a bit, but it's still actually pretty messed up, to be honest. But I put a new monitor on this, and this monitor, the old one was really old, and it had like a limited amount of color, as you could see on the screen itself. And so this one here I've had lying around and never used it, but this particular monitor allows you to see more colors. It has a larger color range. So when I do my lighting and stuff like that, this particular monitor, which is, you know, it's really nice. It's an MSI gaming monitor. Because of the color range, it'll actually help me to light the set and see what the camera sees and what you'll eventually see as well. With like newer iPhones and things like that. This works a lot better in adjusting colors and light. So that's the only real big change here. You know, I went on there and I started this up to make sure it still worked, because I hadn't fired this computer up in so long. And, you know, it still actually does work. There were no spiders living inside there, amazingly. So, of course, I'm happy about that. But anyways, this is really a great little computer. Like, it's really old, but it does the job. So there's really no reason for me to update this or anything. So the other thing I had to do was I had to clean up these lights, because a lot of these lights here were just so dusty from sanding on the heads and things and castings, that they, you know, and I probably still need to go in there and like use my air compressor and open these up and just blow out any stuff that might be inside remaining before I light them up, because a lot of this stuff here gets so hot with these halogen bulbs that any dust will just start burning in there. I don't think there's any spiders, but there might have been some spiders in there. So it might smell like fried food or something if there's like a spider that's in there that I cook. But yeah, so I cleaned these up. A lot of these were, you know, Wool Vinton. Oh, you can see here, look, there's like dangly stuff on there. So obviously these still need to have some more work done to them to clean up. Yeah, see, this So you guys are, if you ever wonder why it is that Hop is going to be Jen's sidekick, it's because the spiders, here's like a nest of spiders where they all died. Crazy. But this is one of the reasons why I chose Hop as a sidekick, because there's so many spiders that live inside this garage all the time, and I try to like, normally I would try to like catch them and put them outside, but lately I've just been vacuuming them up because I just can't keep up with them. It's crazy. So yeah, so the lighting situation is, you know, that's the lighting situation where I'm kind of at war with spiders, right? All right, so but that said, you know, I can go over here. I've got some really cool things, which, you know, it's crazy to think that I'll be using these possibly once again on the new project. I've got some barn doors from Workbench Studios. So these are kind of like a nostalgic thing, and you know, it's kind of sad to actually realize that Workbench Studios no longer exist, you know. But yeah. Anyways, so moving on, let's look at what we got going on here. So, all right, so this is the ship deck from Zombie Pirate Tales, and you know, I'm not going to work on Zombie Pirate Tales anymore because, you know, that project I had big dreams for it, but also they were a bit too big, and obviously I'm not making that anymore because, you know, it would require me building, you know, at least 2 of these sets in this small studio space, which is impossible. And so with the theory with this is that when I build Jen's studio, she can be visited by people. They can come through a door, they can leave, and you know, I can change the set around, but it's always the same space that she lives in, and so I don't have to worry about, you know, different locations and all that kind of stuff, which was kind of bad of me to do previously with Zombie Pirate Tales. But I'm going to take these 2 and I'm going to cut this up and square it off and make a new set floor just for Jen's studio. Also, this is going to be roughed up and it's going to be textured, and it's not going to be clean and pristine like this because Jen is an artist, and there's going to be paint splatters on this. There's going to be blobs of clay. It's just going to be a mess, you know. And this over here, so originally I thought, you know, I could use this frame that I built and build the set here. And this is actually another one of the floors for the upper deck in Zombie Pirate Tales. And when I stuck the Jen puppet on there, I realized that this is just too small of a set for the studio that she lives in. So what this is going to be, and I'm not going to use this because this wood is kind of cool, you know, it's kind of nice. I can use this for something else. But I'm going to take another slab of wood and put it on top. And this is going to be where her house sits, right here. And this green frame, I'm going to have to add another, put some sort of a screen over this for the green screen. And that's going to hang behind this. So, and so some of the things we have up here, I've got like a little lamp. So this is going to be inside her studio. And what's cool about it is that it's like a miniature desk lamp that's the perfect size for, you know, something she would use right in her studio. It's like to see what she's working on and everything. So, and it's cool because you can animate it. You know, it's got a little like flexi tube here or something. It's great. So that's going to be something I use for inside her studio. Got some LEDs. A lot of the stuff is going to be practically lit. So we got some, I think these are pink LEDs. Then we've got also L wires. These are like little neon tubes. They kind of light up like neon lights. And you can bend them around and stuff. And so a lot of the sci-fi look will come from that and that kind of lighting system. What else? Yeah, I mean, that kind of covers the set stuff for now. This here is, I'm trying to straighten out this piece of wood. This is going to be, I'm going to cut this up, and this is going to be one of Jen's work benches. So, but it was kind of warped, so I got it clamped to a piece of wood. The other thing, the last thing I need to do in here is in order for me to have the camera do some dolly shots and pans and things like that, I have this really old system of putting the camera on this, and let's see if I can show you. I can't really do this with one hand. I can set it down. So I've got this thing that I built a while back for Zombie Pirate Tales, and I'm probably going to update this a bit, but this is something that you can screw your camera to, right? And from here, this little knob turns this platform left and right on the platform. It's really cool, but I want to attach this whole thing to a system where I can do like camera dollies and stuff. And I used to have one which was really big, and it had like 2 pieces of wood, and it was really hard to set up. But I want to try to make a more compact one with these different parts. And I'm going to probably 3D print some pieces. It's going to go like this. So I have these like 2 rails, and this. So I want to take these, and I want to have a system where, you know, this piece of aluminum will attach to the tripod, and then I'll have 2 like rectangular pieces that I can have slide back and forth on here with the platform, and the platform will be attached to this. This is kind of the system I had before. I can do this. But there's these bearings here, which will spin, and then this threaded rod. And when I twist the threaded rod here, this will move back and forth and push the platform on these rails. That's the idea. But I want to try and shorten that just a little bit. And I also want to make it to where I can stick it on a tripod and not have, you know, have it take up too much space. So this is something that I have to work on before I can film things, but that might be on the 2nd episode that I do that. Well, I take that back. It's going to be the 1st episode. So anyways, that gives you guys a little tour of the studio, kind of shows you what I've been up to and what's going on in here and what the plans are. And you know, we got to build this set here. We have to get some wood and build a frame for it, and we have to make this the system here with our rails for the camera. And yeah, once I do that, I will show you guys another video and keep you all up to date as to what is going on here. Alright, bye-bye.